Hello everyone, welcome to Reach Goals. Today we are going to talk about an interesting question, that is, how does the internet work? This is an interesting question and many fail to answer even though we work in the software industry for many years. In this, I want to break all the pieces and explain in a crystal clear way so that you never forget to answer. This question can be asked in different ways. What happens behind the scene when you search something in the Google? What happens when you type in a URL in the browser and press enter? You have to be very careful answering this question. Even if you miss a tiny little piece, it gives an impression that you are an inexperienced software engineer. Before going into the answer, you have to understand the 5 key topics, at least at a high level. The TCP/IP. This is a transfer control protocol or internet protocol which helps to communicate between two different devices. HTTP/HTTPS protocol. This is a protocol used for browsing the internet. This is on top of the TCP/IP protocol. When you need to connect two computers, you use TCP/IP. If you need to connect to the internet like surfing the web, you have to use HTTP/HTTPS protocol. Basically, it is a request response protocol. Please watch the REST API concepts video in this channel to know how the request response works. The next one is the routers and the switches. Routers is a networking device. This device helps to route the traffic or help to transfer the message from one place to another. This plays a powerful role in the internet world. The software in it chooses the best possible way to transfer the data so that the data is transferred quickly and efficiently. The next one is the switches. They connect multiple devices such as computers, wireless access points, printers, and servers on the same network within a building or in the campus. The key difference is the switches help different devices to connect to the network, whereas the routers helps to connect different networks to the communicate. The next one is the IP address and the port. This is a unique address of the computer to the network. Every device connected to the network or the internet will have this address. For example, your cell phone, your laptop, your Alexa device, when connected to the internet, will have an IP address. The next one is the port. Port number specifies a particular process running on the host machine. We need an IP address, and to connect to the process in a device, we need a port. The last important thing is the DNS servers. DNS servers are nothing but the domain name system. This is a very important and interesting in the internet world. Many people forget this when explaining how the internet works. Overall, DNS server helps to get the corresponding IP address for a given domain name. Here is an example for google.com. You can easily see the corresponding IP address fetched from the DNS if you have a Google Chrome browser. Here is a picture from the Web Inspector tool and you can see the IP address. I am sure you will have a question like who will map the domain name to the IP address and how it is stored in the DNS server. Keep watching and you'll have more clarity. Now let's see how the internet works in 6 steps as we have already seen the basics. Step 1. Type website address in the browser and hit enter. Step 2. Browser will find the corresponding IP address. It will check in the browser cache, else it will get from the DNS server. We already saw the sequence of activities to get the IP address. Step 3. Browser will connect to the application server which is hosted in the IP address. Step 4. Application server will build a web page and send it as a response. In the process of building the web page, the application server might build a static web page or it might connect to the other systems like database, Solar Search, etc. to build the dynamic page. The most important thing for the response is the header, and it should have the content type which is text/HTML if you need to see the HTML page. Step 5. Since you have used the HTTP protocol from the browser, which is a request response protocol, browser will wait for the response. Browser will see the response like below. Step 6. Browser will start to read the response content. If the header has the content type which is text/HTML, browser will start parsing the HTML tags, CSS styles, and build a beautiful and colorful web page. In this screen, you can see the body and the header of the response, which helps to build the web page. Let's understand how the internet works by having some of the follow-up questions. How will the browser know to parse the HTML page? It is based on the header info in the response. If the header has content type which is text/HTML, browser will start parsing the HTML tags, CSS styles, and will build a beautiful and colorful web page. How will you set the mapping between the DNS and IP address? When you buy a domain name, you have an option to register the domain and set up the mapping to your IP address. For example, if you log into the godaddy.com, you have an option to buy the domain and register the domain to the IP address in the DNS servers. Here you can see some sample pages from godaddy.com. What's the role of routers and switches? We have already discussed in the video about the routers and switches. Basically, switches help different devices to connect on the network, whereas routers helps to connect different networks to communicate. This picture on the screen helps to understand very clearly. The companies like Cisco Systems, Netgear are the popular brands in manufacturing these devices. After the browser connects to the IP address, how will it know to connect to the application servers like Tomcat, WebLogic, etc.? If you are a backend software engineer, you would have seen in the screen. You've installed the application server on specific IP address and exposed it to the public. What happens if more than one application server is running on the server? If more than one application server is installed, you need the port number to differentiate the application servers. You will use both the IP and port to connect to the application servers. Hope you liked this video. Thanks for watching. Post your questions in the comment section and I'm very happy to answer. Thank you.